everyone, Miri here and welcome back to my channel. Sorry that I have been absent for quite some time, but this week has been busy with the deadlines, especially because one of the editors essentially uploads everything up until the last minute. And it doesn't help that we were nearing a national holiday, and normally when that happens, we usually there's a lot of pressure already because the magazine needs to come out at a certain date. But near national holidays, it's like it goes from 0 to 100. Also, I gotta apologize for the little doll that is floating around. I don't know how to take it off from near my model, but it's kind of cute, so I'm willing to forgive it. Over the next couple of weeks, I wasn't be able to stream for my friends whatsoever because, first of all, I've been taking narration lessons that will help me because I've been wanting to dabble in a little bit in audiobooks. It's in my mother language. No, in my mother language. Why did I say modern language? I meant to say mother language. I'm sorry. Well, you see, the audiobooks that I might be reading, if everything pans out the way I intend it to pan out, it will be essentially reading them in Spanish. And essentially, I've been taking lessons from, it's essentially a husband and wife duo that have a radio podcast, and they're pretty cool. The lessons were amazing, and honestly, I wish I was able to take even more lessons because sadly, the package of lessons, if we can call it that, because I don't know how else to call, do you call it a package deal or not? That's what I mean. But yeah, essentially what they offered was just 4 days and then a final project, which is essentially like an introduction of sorts because they also have more programs. And yeah, the classes were pretty good. The only thing is that I was really nervous every time I had to upload an assignment because since I am a bit of a newbie, I was constantly afraid of messing up. The teachers are chill and their feedback is short, sweet, and to the point, and it essentially tells you what could be better, what needs improvement, so on and so forth. And apparently, I grew up with the work of that voice actor, and I didn't realize until I looked him up on Google because it was my mom, the one that gave me the link, because since she knows that I like voice actors and whatnot, she was like, hey, you should try this one out. And I was like, okay. I mean, what else did I have to lose? Besides, I follow many voice actors in social media, and I've been looking at their work and that would be pretty sweet to have a job like that. At first, I wasn't sure because I don't have an acting background, but it's a good start. But yeah, the guy in question, my Spanish-speaking peeps will recognize the voice because he was essentially the Latin American Spanish voice for Pinky and Pinky and the Brain. And honestly, when you hear that guy talking, you don't imagine that he could portray Pinky. I mean it in the way his voice is deep, and you know that Pinky has a very high pitch, and you wouldn't have guessed unless you looked it up and whatnot. I essentially was surprised because when he speaks, normally he has a very deep voice, and then I remember when I was a little demon, that Pinky from Pinky and the Brain, everyone that has seen the series know that he has a very high pitch. And when I learned that, I was like, oh my god, this guy has range. And oh my god, I'm still processing it, okay? I still cannot believe I was between a combination of starstruck and shocked because I was like, oh my god, dude's got a range. And I told that to my friends, and they told me that it was wild. And it indeed it is, but in a good way. And this has been essentially my first experience as an audiobook narrator, and so far, it has been pretty good. I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to, make the cut because, as you guys might have seen, I tend to stutter a lot, especially when I'm talking unscripted like this. You guys know that I tend to go on tangents and whatnot. And also, something that surprised me was the fact that I didn't realize how potent my microphone was until I connected it to regular headphones, not the ones that are essentially made for this kind of stuff. Like the ones that I have are essentially salmon pink that I got at Miniso, and they were at a very good price too. Like I was intending them to be wired, but the headset that I was eyeing, which was essentially in the same color palette as my microphone, which is essentially it's a black microphone with neon LED lights, and I kind of wanted headphones that were essentially similar to that, or at the very least in the same color. Like I didn't mind if they didn't have the rainbow LED, although not gonna lie, it would have been preferable if I did, because that looks really cute, not gonna lie. I am the type of woman, and I'm pretty sure I'm not alone in this. You guys know when you see something that is so pretty that you're like, oh, I want to buy it. That's essentially me. Oh my god. Yeah, I wanted to buy it. I essentially buy things, and that even applies to anime, to webtoons, which I haven't read in a while. I really need to get back into that. Like, I was meaning to do that, but my scheduling sucks. But I'm trying to work on it because here's the thing. I don't think I have talked about this, but one of my coworkers didn't like that I was essentially studying in a low voice next to her. But here's the thing, like, they make a lot of noise most of the time. Well, not all the time, but most of the time they speak really loud, and I was essentially just quietly mumbling, and I don't know why that caused that much of an issue. But yeah, to prevent any more complaints, I've been essentially either starting to study very early in the morning, which is sometimes counterproductive because I tend to get distracted a lot in the morning, especially if something has been getting on my nerves and I start to vent, and then I lose track of the time. And not only that, I've been starting to do narration exercises as well. And I just didn't want to bother anyone, let alone being bothered. So essentially, I started from yesterday. Well, not like yesterday. This was like on Monday. To essentially, no, wait. It wasn't on Monday. It was on Tuesday. I started on Tuesday studying at home at night. Although I should probably see what a workaround I can reach when my friends are streaming, because I don't want to miss my friend's stream, and also I don't want to miss on the opportunity to study at night, so I don't bother anybody, nobody bothers me, everyone's happy. But yeah, the only drawback is that I get a little bit sleep deprived, and I am essentially like a living dead the whole morning, and that cannot be good. Plus, I get really restless when I haven't slept well, so yeah, I should be looking into that. Thankfully, tomorrow is Corpus Christi, so I won't have to go to the office, which is great. Now, as for the other week, in which I wasn't able to play with my friends because I had a family trip to El Morro de Montecristi, and essentially we've been doing a lot of excursions. I mean, is that how you say it? Excursion? Well, tours around the beach, El Morro, which is essentially a giant rock in the sea. And my aunt, we were moving a lot with her because she was planning a lot of tours for us and a lot of activities. And if anything, the longest that we were at the hotel between tours was about 3 hours. And it got to a point that we went to this place called it's essentially close to Playa Cabra. That is essentially like there are tons of wait, I knew the word, like, how do you say manglares in English? Hang on. I am looking this up. This is kinda live, but not really since I'm recording. Hang on. Manglares in English. Come on. Mangroves. Yeah, mangroves. And I gotta say, the water was pretty clean. And it was really quiet and peaceful. Like, there were a few fishes here and there and some cranes. But otherwise, the water was extremely clean and deep enough so I could swim. And there was a pretty funny story about how I got the part of my swimsuit that I ordered, because I had already the top, I only needed the bottoms, and I couldn't get and I'm gonna be real, I am not good at planning for trips because essentially we don't travel that much, because sometimes moving around costs a lot of money and we don't have the time either. But yeah, the times we do it, I'm a total mess. And I essentially thought about my swimsuit because we were going to the beach, so of course until the last minute. And then I paid to expedite the bottoms, and I thought that I was going to get them at the very least on the 12th, or no, the 11th. It wasn't the 11th when I got the order. Then the 12th arrived, and it hasn't arrived at my home yet. And it was essentially the day of the trip where everyone was about to, where everyone was on the way to the hotel, which was pretty good. There was even a little dog that was the manager's, and honestly, she was the greeter. I love her. She was really cute and really well behaved, actually. And I remember when I first saw her, she was essentially playing with a bottle cap. I think she was a Maltese or a mix, I don't know. She was tiny and her fur was really white. So yeah, could have been a Maltese or could have been a mix, I don't know. I know a little bit about dog breeds, but there are some that I don't know. Like today, one of the interviewees the people that we interview for articles, I mean, the magazine in question that had the little doggy visit wasn't exactly under my jurisdiction, because we are two proofreaders, and essentially I have assigned X amount of magazines, and then he has the assigned Y amount of magazines, so on and so forth. And sadly, the one with the Australian Shepherd wasn't on my jurisdiction, but He was really cute. Honestly, I will go to the depths of hell for that dog. Oh my god. He was really cute and he was so well trained, and even though I wasn't exactly part of the crew that was going to interview the owners, I still went to look at the little doggy. I say doggy, but Australian shepherds are not tiny, okay? They are medium sized compared to like they're essentially about the size of a Labrador, I think. But yeah, I initially thought that it was a border collie because not German shepherds. I'm mixing them up. Australian shepherds and border collie kinda look the same, but yeah. I found that he was an Australian shepherd. Why do I keep saying German shepherd? I'm probably not used to mentioning that dog breed a lot, but yeah, it was really cute, and I was able to take a nice picture of it. And one of my coworkers told me that it actually looked really nice, and I couldn't believe it. But yeah, the week before the trip, I was essentially going crazy practicing my drawing ahead, which I know that you should do it every day and whatnot, but the thing is, I knew for a fact that during those 3 days I was going to want to draw, but the activities that my aunt planned for us wouldn't allow it. So yeah, the plan was essentially to just bring my stuff for studying, the flashcards that I have for Japanese and French, and essentially just study there early in the morning, which thank God the hotel had a gym. But at the last day, I got a little bit upset because there was an activity, and the day before, the poor people at the kitchen were essentially short-staffed. They had to handle a lot of people coming to an activity that turned out to be from a local politician, which I'm not gonna say who it was because I don't want to dox anybody. But yeah, my parents pretty much just came to the gym and were like, you really need to wrap this up because there are a lot of people at the breakfast table, and they were essentially everything was going to run out. Like, I got angry. But the second I had my breakfast, it was like all that bad mood just poof, gone. That's when I confirmed that I am food motivated, like a dog. God, I don't know what else to talk about. Yeah. Oh, I think I think I went on a tangent after that headphone thing, and I am honestly trying to last a little bit more than just 15 or 7 minutes, and that's essentially the days I don't have that much to talk about. But essentially, what happened with the headphones that I don't think I got around to finishing was essentially that for some reason these headphones tend to just I'm basically just able to hear from one side if I have connected the cable in a certain way, because otherwise it was fine. I initially thought that it was going to be for example, that either they got damaged, which would have been a bummer because I essentially just bought them, and also the mouse is probably appearing a lot on screen because my new PC, not the old one, has essentially the configuration to fall asleep at a certain amount of seconds, and I haven't yet figured out how to turn that thing off. But yeah. Oh dear Christ. Where was I? Oh yeah. Essentially the other headphones, the one that I got, because that was a whole other story. I got new headphones because the other ones that I have were essentially about to say goodbye to this world. And at first, I bought Duracell ones that they did the job, but I can tell that they were quite old because they got damaged instantly, and I should have seen that coming when I essentially took it out of the packaging because it was a delivery guy through an app that delivered that for me. And essentially, when I opened it, there was a little bit of dust, and I was like, oh, maybe it has been on the shelf for quite some time. And I think I knew the reason why, although it probably due to lack of usage that essentially the headphones got damaged rather quickly because my mom has told me that things can also get damaged if you don't use it a lot, which I know it sounds weird, but it makes sense because eventually, even if you don't use something, things just stop working. I know, obvious, but it is what it is. So yeah, that's essentially my theory as to why the other headphones just didn't work out, because they were quite old and they were a lot of time in the shelf, and yeah, that could have damaged them. I essentially had to buy another ones when I went on the trip because we essentially stopped by a supermarket to make sure that we bought stuff that were missing, but we forgot to buy beach towels, which was essentially essential, really, which was essentially a key part of the beach trip. Like, we were going to the beach. And thankfully, one of my aunts had one to spare, so yeah, we basically had to share it. Thankfully, it was a very big one because my dad is a really tall guy, and my mom and I, who are really tiny women, it would have been a logistic nightmare to distribute it between the three of us. So essentially, it was my mom and I one time, and then when we were dry enough, then it went to dad. Okay, so now that I'm finally getting into the headphones, during one of my classes, the narration ones, essentially I thought that my headphones, the salmon ones, stopped working. And I initially thought that it was because for some reason they weren't charged up, but yesterday I found out that not only I need to turn it off, essentially connect the microphone, connect the headphones, connect everything before I turn on the computer, but also I need to make sure that the cable is in a certain way and essentially make sure that my headphones are picking up the sound from the both sides, which was a total nightmare because when I needed to either upload an assignment, because yes, the course has assignment where they essentially give us the feedback and whatnot. Something I already mentioned in it, but I'm doing a recap. And essentially, I thought at first, during that first recording, that my headphones were damaged. Then it happened again, and I thought that they got discharged. Then during yesterday's rehearsal for the final event, I basically had to connect the ordinary ear jacks, and oh my god, it seems like the headset prevents outside noises from coming inside the microphone, and that's essentially now that I learned it. As for the other things that I do at night to make sure that I don't bother anyone at work, aside from starting to study at night, even though I prefer to do it in the morning while I work out, but I believe that it will be a better alternative because not only I will essentially pace myself a little bit better and not worry about essentially people from the office coming, because I noticed that when I feel pressured, I can essentially rush things, and that it's not helpful at all if I'm going to want to dabble a little bit in narration and whatnot. I'm not gonna say much because I don't want to dox myself, but yeah. What was it? Oh god. I went from one tangent to the other. What am I going to do with myself? This is the longest that I yapped. Like, normally I don't have anything else to say, and it's usually about Jesus Christ, I'm about to reach the half hour. I never thought that I will be able to actually speak a lot. Which is ironic because in real life I can yap a lot, although that might be because, again, Spanish is my mother language and I can easily start yapping on it. But when it comes to English, I need to think harder about what I want to talk about. So yeah, hell, I have been coming to videos way back in the day. And I say way back in the day, but it was like about a year ago or so, where I have lots and lots of stuff that I wanted to talk about. And then the second I am into the camera, I am in front of the camera, I either freeze because essentially I have to rush it because I need to go to sleep, or I just forget entirely what I was going to talk about. So yeah. But the thing with the original ear jacks, the ones that are ordinary that I connected while I sorted out the thing with the earpiece, was that the the microphone captured everything that was moving around. Like, if I lift a pencil and put it on my desk, you were able to hear it. It was so embarrassing that I tried to do it one more time to see if the headphones actually worked, and thankfully they worked just in time, and they didn't seem to bother anybody, which I'm glad, because whenever there's a noise, I worry that it can bother them. And the recording sessions actually have been going quite well because the people that are in my class are pretty chill, and there are a few people that, oh god, I am kind of just mixing things up. I've seen, oh god, I don't know. I'm running out of topics. But yeah, among my colleagues, there's this girl that she portrayed amazingly one of the characters that was going to appear in our final project, and it was pretty cool that she could embrace her accent, because the character in particular had her accent essentially, like it was from the same nationality as her, which I'm not gonna say because I don't want to dox her. So yeah. I don't know what to do right now, honestly. Like, I know that I said it before in the video, but this is the longest that I yapped, and I really need to get used to it if I want to make YouTubing a more regular thing, VTubing a more regular thing, which sends me into the other subject that I have in mind, which is essentially the other day I tried to record in OBS. Like, I forget if I had mentioned it during the other blog. Like, if not, well, this is the first time you guys are hearing it. Essentially, I tried to record any gameplay whatsoever in OBS, but for some reason, even though I had figured out how to make my model move, I wasn't able to. I wasn't able to essentially make sure my model moves while the game footage moves. And I think it might be due to the fact that even though this PC is quite good, I believe that it still doesn't have enough storage to have both a game working and my VTuber model running at the same time. Like, I've been thinking about a compromise that essentially worked a little bit for me in when I was playing Reverse 999. That is essentially I record part of what I want to say with my VTuber model, and I would what's the word? I will just incorporate the footage and then do the outro and whatnot. We'll see. I'm still figuring things out, but the important thing is that I have a better microphone, better headphones, and a better PC. Anyways, see ya!